Howdy everyone, welcome to the next lesson on Romeo and Juliet. I'm going to be looking at Lord Capulet this lesson. Okay, so you can look at the LO there, but the starter activity is: how does the friar, described by Lord Capulet, forces Juliet to marry Paris? You, to remove that siege of grief from her, betrothed and would have married her perforce to County Paris. Okay, pause the video, have a think about that. Okay, so the answer then is to remove that siege of grief from her. Lord Capulet forces Juliet to marry Paris. He forces her because Tybalt has died. That is what the friar thinks is the main reason why he made her marry Paris. Okay, it's up to you if you believe that, but we're going to be looking at how Lord Capulet is presented in Act 3, Scene 5. Let's get started then. Alright, so a recap on arranged marriages. Marriage was useful for everyone. Alright, so we have money, sharing wealth, security, so making sure that other people have your back, like joining together of companies for higher prices and lower costs, and also we have power. So all of these four reasons you have for two people coming together to get their children to get married together. Now, the main one, particularly for Romeo and Juliet, is probably power, because of Paris being a member of the prince's consultant team, I suppose you might want to call it. But so Paris being useful in that way gives Capulet power. All right. So a bit of context for the scene then. He's a leading member of the Capulet family. A leading member of the Capulet family has just been murdered by an enemy, which is Tybalt and Romeo. Why might Capulet wish to have a wedding so soon after a death? Why do you think Lord Capulet hears of Tybalt's death and then thinks to himself, you know what we need? We need a wedding. Why does Capulet believe that having a wedding now would be the best thing? Pause the video, have a think. All right, so three reasons then. We have pride, we have depression, and we have fear. Let's go pride first. So he's a very proud man. Now, if one of his main people in his family has been murdered, he needs to show some force, show some strength in the community, and having that marriage to Paris shows that. So he's trying to regain some of the pride that he's lost in having his daughter, marry him. Okay. Because of what Romeo has done to his family. The next one, depression. When somebody has died, depression obviously takes over. Now, depression, some people believe that the best thing you can do is have fun, and some people at their funerals, they tend to have some music that's more light-hearted. They tend to have people that are celebrating their life rather than being miserable. What Capulet might be doing is that by getting Juliet married to Paris, he's combating the depression that is being felt of the death of Tybalt. Third one, fear. Maybe he's scared. Maybe he's scared of having lost some of his power, and now he needs to regain some of it. So these three things then are the main reasons why Lord Capulet needs to get Paris and Juliet married as soon as possible. So let's read this scene then. All right, so Lady Capulet has already spoken with Juliet, and she said to her, guess what, you get to marry Paris, and Juliet isn't very pleased. Then enters Lord Capulet. Have you delivered to her our decree? Ay, sir, but she will none. She gives you thanks. I would the fool were married to her grave. Soft, take me with you, wife. How will she none? Doth she not give us thanks? Is she not proud? Doth she not count her blessed, unworthy as she is, that we have wrought so worthy a gentleman to be her bridegroom? Not proud you have, but thankful that you have. Proud I can never be of what I hate, but thankful even for hate that is meant love. How now, chop logic, what is this? Proud, and I thank you not, and yet not proud, mistress minion you. Thank me no thankings, nor proud me no prouds, but fettle your fine joint against Thursday next, to go with Paris to St. Peter's Church, or I would drag thee on a hurdle thither. Out, you green sickness carrying, out, you baggage, you tallow face. Good father, 5-5, what are you mad? Lady Capulet says that. Um, Good father, I beseech you on my knees, hear me with the patience but to speak a word. Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wretch. I tell thee what, get thee to church a Thursday, or never after look me in the face. Speak not, reply not, do not answer me. My fingers itch. Wife, we scarce thought us blessed that God had lent us this only child, but now I see this one is one too much, that we have a curse in having her out on her Hilding. Now then, with this is a really good scene. Obviously, most people's one of their favourite. And what Capulet is showing here is his typical Elizabethan father behaviour, being aggressive, being forceful, being domineering over his daughter and even his wife to an extent as well. So Juliet is saying, "I'm thankful, I'm happy, I'm proud of what you've of I'm happy of what you brought to me. This opportunity, but it's not what I want." And Capulet, very different to the first scene that he speaks about marriage, now he's saying, "You will get there on Thursday or never look me in the face." So, what we're going to do is we're going to break down how Capulet is presented, but let's have a look first of all at Lady Capulet. So, Lady Capulet is an enabler. So, what I mean by that is she enables Lord Capulet to do the terrible things that he does, to be aggressive towards their daughter. And have a look at these quotations. I would the fool were married to her grave, and I would, particularly in Shakespeare, means I wish. I wish the fool were married to her grave, which is interesting because she's using the metaphor of marriage, and also she's saying, I wish she was dead. Okay, she wishes her own daughter was dead, but there's an interesting juxtaposition here is that Juliet is refusing to marry, and she's saying, well, I wish she was married to her grave instead. Talk not to me, for I'll not speak a word. Do as you will, for I have done with you. So she says to her own daughter, do what you want, I don't care, I'm done with you. Now, she's enabling her husband to act the way the way he does. She does have this quotation at the top of this page, which is difficult to see. Fi, what are you mad? And she's telling him to calm down, but that is the only element of this scene that shows that Lady Capulet cares about her daughter's well-being, when actually all she cares about is the same thing Lord Capulet does, which is improving their family's situation, their status, and at the risk of losing their daughter, and she doesn't care. All right, so that's Lady Capulet. Let's have a look at Capulet, the imitator. Now, what I mean by that is that he repeats a lot of what Juliet says back to him. Proud, and I thank you not, and yet not proud, mistress minion you. Thank me, no thank you, nor proud be no prouds. So, what he's doing here is repeating back some of Juliet's lines and throwing them in her face. He even copies the politeness, which is interesting. Proud and I thank you, and thank me no thankings. He doesn't want to be thanked. He doesn't want to be the loved father. Obviously, you've probably heard of people saying that when you're a parent, you don't want to be your children's friend. But it's more than that for Lord Capulet. He doesn't even need her respect. He just wants her to do what he's telling her to do. So don't say thank you. Don't tell me you're proud. And I don't want any of that. You must do what I tell you to do. So he's imitating her here in order to mock her, in order to get her to do what he wants. Capulet the abuser. Now, we have wrought so worthy a gentleman. I have brought you, I have made you this husband for you, to be the one with you, and you are refusing it. Now, it takes this kind of metaphor as if he's made this person directly for her. He's forcing her into this marriage, hence the abuse. Out, you green sickness carrion, you baggage, you tallow face. So we have three metaphors in a row. We have this triple of metaphors. You green sickness carrion, you cancer, you animal that carries disease, you baggage. He sees you as baggage, something to be carried along with him. And you tallow face. So he's talking about animal fat on her face. So he personally attacks her. Your parents are supposed to be some of the most mature people that you know, and you might laugh at that, but your parents are supposed to be the ones that are a role model for for being mature, and he's not being that. He's using this triple of metaphors to be abusive towards his daughter. Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wretch. He doesn't want her to die here. He says, hang you, young baggage. He doesn't mean he wants her strung up to a tree. He's saying, hang somewhere else, be somewhere else, because you're just a young baggage. You belong to me, and you are a burden to me, and you're a disobedient wretch. You're a pathetic creature that doesn't follow instructions. And then the last one, my fingers itch. And what he means by that is his fingers are itching to hit her. He doesn't hit her in this scene, but his fingers are itching to hit her. He wishes to hit her. Wife, so he speaks again aggressively towards his wife. We just about thought us blessed that God had lent us but this only child. He uses the metaphorical verb of lending this daughter because they're religious and they believe that time is temporary, that life is temporary. But now I see this one is one too much. So he says that having one daughter is great because they managed to get one, but now he's saying one is too many because she refuses to follow our instructions. So he's itching to hit her, and he wishes he wished he was blessed, but now he's not. Okay, and I put in the top corner there metaphor galore. There is a metaphor in every single one of these. You have created a worthy gentleman. You've got the triple metaphor: sickness carrying, you baggage, and tallow face. Hang the young baggage. He calls her a baggage again. And then my fingers itch. That's another metaphor, okay? And the metaphor of lending and being blessed, okay? Lots of metaphors there. Capulet the abuser. So the big task then, how does Shakespeare present Lord Capulet in Act 3, Scene 5? There are lots of quotations to choose from. You've got this one with his imitating her. You've also got the abusive ones with these 4 quotations. So how does Shakespeare present Lord Capulet in Act 3, Scene 5? Is he kind? Is he brutal? Is he honest? Is he dishonest? Is he honourable? Is he dishonourable, etc.? Choose as many adjectives as you can. At least 3 quotations, 20-25 minutes to analyse Lord Capulet and how he's presented in this scene. Okay, pause the video. Alright, let's move on then. So, Capulet the Changeling. Now, this is a scene taken from this is the scene taken from Act 1, Scene 2. And I've got the colours wrong, but don't worry about that. My child is yet a stranger in the world. This is when Paris is asking Lord Capulet if he can marry his daughter. She has not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride. Ere we make her think right to be a bride, younger than she a happy mother's maid, and too soon damaged or marred are those so early made. The earth has swallowed all my hopes but she. She is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agree, within her scope of choice lies my consent and fair according voice. How different is this character to the one that we were looking at earlier? Now, we've got here this this difference between the outside quotations versus the inside. Now, this character has gone through a change. He is a changeling. He is changed from being this caring, respectful father that cares about his daughter's opinions and her future to being someone who thinks that if she doesn't follow his instructions, she's going to kick him out. He's going to kick her out. Okay? So, what I'd like you guys to do then is So I'd like you to explain how he has changed. Okay, what has made the difference in your opinion? Okay, so pause the video to tell me what has made the difference between the part in the middle and the part on the outside. Pause the video. Off you go. Now, there's only really a couple of answers. One, it could be that he's an Elizabethan father and this was inevitable. He was going to change because that's what Elizabethan fathers were like. But the second one, the more likely one, is that because Tybalt's died, he's desperate. He's desperate to get back his pride, to no longer be in fear, and to be less depressed. He wants his family to get their power back. And the only way to do that is to get his daughter married off, even if she doesn't want to. So, the biggest difference then between the character, the beginning of the character, and Act 3, Scene 5, near the middle, is that the situation has changed for Lord Capulet. He wasn't in a rush at the beginning, so he could respect her opinions, but by the end, he doesn't. Okay? So they're the main 2 reasons. Okay? Last task. How does Shakespeare present fatherhood in Romeo and Juliet with Lord Capulet? This is a big one. So I want you to use 2 to 3 quotations, um, perhaps 4, so you can have 2 from what he's like at the beginning, 2 from what he's like at the end. And I want you to analyse how is fatherhood presented in Romeo and Juliet with Lord Capulet. So is he used to show, wow, this is an amazing father, this is how all fathers should behave, or is this a signal for how Elizabethan fathers should not behave? Whose side is Shakespeare on? Is he on Juliet's side or is he on Lord Capulet's side? Would the audience be on their side? Okay, so I want to answer this question. How does Shakespeare present fatherhood in Romeo and Juliet with Lord Capulet? I'm going to say 4 quotations, 2 from the beginning, 2 from the beginning, 2 from the middle. Okay? I would like you to analyse those 4 quotations. Tell me, how does he change and what is Shakespeare saying about fatherhood? This is the final activity for the lesson. Spend about 20 minutes doing this activity. Okay, this is the final thing. Thank you guys. See you in the next one.